What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and in today's video, I'm going to take you through 3 MLB bangers for you to cash in on. I'm also going to teach you the exact strategy, what tools to use so that you can do this yourself. These picks are about to go through, they're all specific for DFS apps, Dabble, Prizepicks, Underdog, that type of stuff. It's not necessarily for sports betting, and I'll show you why in a second. Now, to maximize how much you can win, you need to download Dabble Fantasy. The payouts for this type of play are so much better compared to sportsbooks and other DFS apps like Prizepicks. So sign up to Dabble now. The link is in the video description below, or use the code DAFT. Then come back and watch the rest of this video to see these picks and how I found them. Now, when you sign up to Dabble, they're actually going to throw you $10 into your account. You don't even have to deposit to do it. But given how much better Dabble is for its specific payout structures, especially for a play like this, I'd be using Dabble every single day if I could. Now, let's talk about payouts for a second. Firstly, when comparing against Prizepicks, for a 3-man entry on Prizepicks, I believe you get 5 times your money. So if you have to take the free $10 and you were to bet that on Prizepicks, you'd win $50. That's not bad. On sportsbooks, you'll get anywhere between 3x and 6x, depending on the odds of the selections. Usually, we're looking at about 5x as well. Now, the great thing about Dabble is for the exact same play that you will punch into Prizepicks as a 3-man, you'd actually get a 6x return instead of 5x. Now, if you had $10 and you were to win, yes, it'd be an extra $10. But what if that was every single win that you had moving forward? These things start to add up. So use Dabble, get the best return you possibly can from the entries that you make. And when it comes to sports betting and then playing daily fantasy apps, there's different strategies out there. One, which I'm pretty popular for, is using your own research or using your knowledge of the players in sport to predict the outcome of their stats. It's a very common practice, and it's something that I do all the time. I do it, you probably do it, and most content creators on YouTube do it too. Now, there's also another strategy which relies on probability and a mathematical edge, meaning they only place bets where they have an edge. A lot of professionals bet this way. A lot of people who aren't necessarily connected to a sport bet this way as well. And a lot of people who look at sports betting and playing daily fantasy apps as an investment, they do it this way as well. Now, given I know fuck all about MLB, we're tackling this with the second strategy, where the odds are much better than the actual probability of the outcome. Then we're going to use another tool to verify the pick to give us some comfort. So how did I find these picks? Well, let me show you. So this is OddsJam Daily Fantasy Optimizer. This tool gives you real-time odds for props and compares them to daily fantasy apps to give you the highest EV plays relative to the sportsbook odds. So immediately when we jump into this and we get straight to Dabble, we can see that there are 3 players that stand out to me. Cutter Crawford under 6.5 hits allowed, Joey Estes under 2 earned runs, and Michael King over 6 strikeouts. These 3 picks are all positive EV when you compare the odds that the sharp sports books are giving in comparison to the odds that you get with Dabble Fantasy. So for example, if we were to run Dabble as a 5-man, we're looking at average odds of $1.83, which is minus 117. And if you were to compare that to sports books, we could see for Cutter Crawford, the average odds that we're seeing are about $1.70, $1.55 on others. So $1.70 is minus 130 and $1.55 is minus 150, minus 145. So what the sports books are telling us is they're really favoring this play to hit under, whereas Dabble's giving us a much better price for it. It's the same with Joey Estes and with Michael King. Basically, these 3 plays, the sports books are saying are likely to happen, whereas you're getting much better odds if you run them on Dabble, which makes this a positive EV play. Now, so I just quickly switched this over. I had it as a 5-man, but we're really just looking at a 3-man in this one. So a non-insured 3-man play for Dabble. These 3 are all in the green, so it's looking juicy. Basically, what I wanted to call out here is if you don't have access to sportsbooks in your state, it's a very common thing. A lot of people in the US don't have access to sportsbooks, the same way that I don't have access to daily fantasy apps. But if I did have access to daily fantasy apps, OddsJam would be an absolute must. And if you are playing daily fantasy apps and that's your only option, I strongly encourage you to check out OddsJam and this daily fantasy optimizer. There's too many times where I see people losing bets because if you copy somebody's sports bet picks and just try to replicate that in Dabble, you're not going to win money over time. Take it from me, I am a sports bettor, which means I look for plays which are as close to plus money as possible. And if you're looking at plays which are close to plus money, the probability of those plays hitting are at about 50%. In order to be profitable on these daily fantasy apps, you need to be hitting at about 55 to 56% on all of your picks over time to be profitable. But if you're just copying a sports bettor where the target's a lot lower and probably closer to 50%, you're definitely going to lose your money. Whereas if you're playing daily fantasy, you need to play daily fantasy specific picks. So if you're interested in trying out OddsJam, you can get a 7-day free trial using my link below. Don't forget to enter the promo code DAFT to get 35% off your first month of your subscription. The next step isn't essential, but if you're anything like me, you want to be thorough, you want to take your time with it to make sure you're making the best bets possible and the best entries that you possibly can. And what do we use for that? Well, we're jumping into Outlier, boys. I know you've seen me use this 1,000 times before, but if it's your first time checking out the video, Outlier is my go-to tool when it comes to researching player props and picks. So you need to jump into Outlier for this. And this strategy won't work with other tools similar to Outlier. It's very specific to Outlier because Outlier pulls out insights like nobody's business. So if you don't have Outlier, I also have a link for a 7-day free trial in the video description below. They also have a killer iOS app. It's got all the bells and whistles to it. So you could get the 7-day free trial for OddsJam, 7-day free trial for Outlier. You can hammer it all at the same time. Test this strategy out over the 7-day free trial. Use all these tools. And once you start making money, then you can sign up and go crazy with it. But we're going to look at the 3 players that we looked at and we'll verify to make sure that we have some comfort in it. So what OddsJam is telling us is that these 3 players are positive EV, which is great. Positive EV is terrific. It means you're making the right decisions. This only works on Outlier, like I said. So we're looking at Cutter Crawford under 6.5 hits allowed. And the reason why you need to use Outlier and Outlier only for this is because of these insights. You click on this button and check this out. Under 6.5 hits allowed for Cutter Crawford. He's failed to exceed 6.5 hits allowed in 17 out of his last 19 games on the road. He's only averaging 3.8 hits allowed per game, and he's got an 89% hit rate in the last 19 games on the road. It's a pretty juicy insight. And when all the stars align, meaning Outlier is telling us it's a good play, and OddsJam is telling us it's good value for money, then that's definitely going to be the first entry. All right, the next one that we're looking through is Michael King. We're looking at over 6 strikeouts for Michael King, and his line's at 5.5 strikeouts, so pretty much right on the money here. Here's Michael King. Now, Outlier are also calling this out as a positive EV play, interestingly enough, but we want to get some trends. So we click on this insight and check this out. So Michael King has exceeded 5.5 strikeouts in 7 out of his last 8 games, averaging 7.6 strikeouts per game, which is an 88% hit rate in the last 8 games. Now, I do know that this is a line of 5.5, whereas with Dabble, you need to get more than 6. The good thing about Dabble is when you put these entries together, is even if you get a push, it doesn't mean you necessarily lose your bet. It just might lower your odds a little bit. But for taking this bet, you're getting great odds for it anyway. And then the last play, we're looking at Joey Estes. We're looking at under 2 earned runs. So let me jump back into Outlier here. So his line is 2.5. So if we jump into the Insights tab, what do we see? Joey Estes has failed to exceed 2.5 earned runs in 5 straight games at home, averaging 1.2 earned runs per game. So it's a 100% hit rate under the 2.5. We need to finish on less than 2. And if he does happen to finish on 2, again, it's a push. You're not going to lose your money as these bets push. So that makes it all 3, believe it or not. Lucky us. The only 3 plays that Dabble have called, not Dabble, the only 3 plays that OddsJam have called out as positive EV plays on Dabble just happen to be picks where we've gotten some pretty juicy insights on Outlier. So to quickly summarize the video, those are the 3 picks. And the 3 picks are not the most exciting part of this whole video, believe it or not. It's pretty straightforward. Those are the 3 picks. The 3 picks, they're all positive EV, meaning you're getting good value for money for those picks. You're not just being some casual guy making these entries. The other thing, download and install, sign up to Dabble. Let's get it cranking. There's a link for it below because For a 3-man on Prizepicks, you're only getting 5 times your money. But on Dabble, for the exact same plays, you're going to get 6 times, meaning more money in your pocket when you finally win. Use OddsJam to find these positive EV plays. There's a link for it below. 7-day free trial, and you get 35% of your subscription if you use my code DAFT. And then you can also use Outlier. 7-day free trial. The link for that's also there as well. Use these two in combination, and you're going to be killing it on these daily fantasy apps. Let me know what your thoughts are of the video. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know if you've used these tools before, and if you've ever used them together. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Best of luck. Peace.